everyone. My name is George, and today we are going to be reviewing Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. We are continuing the monthly review series of Harry Potter films, and we are continuing with the fourth film based off the fourth book. And this film came out in 2005, and it was not directed by Alfonso Cuarón or Chris Columbus. It was directed by Mike Newell this time, and once again stars Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, Emma Watson, and many of the other cast members from the previous films, as well as new additions like Brendan Gleeson as Professor Alistair Mad-Eye Moody, and Ralph Fiennes as Lord Voldemort. So, in Harry Potter's fourth year of Hogwarts, he has been forced to compete in the Triwizard Tournament because someone put his name into the Goblet of Fire. And not only does he need to survive this tournament and compete against other young witches and wizards that have more experience than him, he also has to deal with the growing threat of Lord Voldemort. He's having these dreams about Voldemort. The Death Eaters are appearing at the Quidditch World Cup, and something is up. Former Death Eaters are coming onto the scene. And for those of you who are not aware, Death Eaters are the supporters of Lord Voldemort. Hopefully, you know that by now because these books and movies have been out for many years. So, the interesting thing about Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire is the reputation that it's gained as well as what it means to me. And the reputation is this is either considered most people's favorite Harry Potter movie or one of their favorites, or one of their least favorites or their least favorite. And I think part of that is because this is one of those films in the Harry Potter franchise that is so drastically different from the book. Now, this is the size of the book. This is the book Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This is like over 30 chapters. And compare that to the size of the Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban book. So here are the two books. Yeah, there's a big difference. It's not like it's a few chapters more, it's a lot more chapters. And at one point, the producers were considering splitting Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire up into two movies. And Mike Newell had a different approach compared to Chris Columbus and Alfonso Cuarón. Mike Newell, like right as he began reading, like 45 minutes in, just quit and was like cutting stuff out left and right. And yeah, there's some stuff that probably didn't need to be in the movie, or I really can't see be in the movie. But at the same time, there were some interesting aspects that you could have kept in the movie or expanded. For example, you could have extended the Quidditch World Cup, but that doesn't make the movie a bad movie. No, Mike Newell still did a great job. I love Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. It's one of my favorite Harry Potter movies. And this is also the last Harry Potter movie that I saw before reading the book. From Order of the Phoenix to like Deathly Hallows, I read the books before watching the movies. So I guess that's also why I'm not like that nitpicky when it comes to Goblet of Fire, because Goblet of Fire, Mike Newell still managed to keep a lot of the important aspects, even though he could have handled some of the mystery aspects of Goblet of Fire better, such as the mystery as to who put Harry's name in the Goblet of Fire, and not making it as obvious as he kind of did. But that doesn't hurt the movie, at least in my opinion. The only real book movie difference that I feel like did hurt the movie, and bugs me even though it is kind of funny at the same time and has created several internet memes, is how Dumbledore is handled in this film. So, one of the things I forgot to acknowledge in my Prisoner of Azkaban review is that Michael Gambon is now Dumbledore. Richard Harris passed away back in 2002, so from Prisoner of Azkaban to Deathly Hallows Part 2, Michael Gambon took over the role as Dumbledore. And in Prisoner of Azkaban, Michael Gambon did a great job with Dumbledore. And I feel like he also did a great job in Order of the Phoenix and Half-Blood Prince, portraying the Dumbledore that feels similar to the books. Goblet of Fire is not Dumbledore that we know from the books. Dumbledore seems very angry a lot in this film. He's always yelling, he's pushing Harry into shelves, into trophies, asking if he put his name in the Goblet of Fire. And obviously, you know the infamous meme, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire, Harry? Dumbledore asked calmly. But the way Newell approached Dumbledore in this film, and I don't blame Michael Gambon for this, because like I said, he was great in Prisoner of Azkaban. He was great in Order of the Phoenix and Half-Blood Prince with what he was given. In this film, he was not given the Dumbledore that we know. In fact, in the book, the only time you really see Dumbledore angry is when he's saving Harry from the imposter Moody at the end of the book. But again, because in the movie Dumbledore's so angry like right from the beginning, that surprise anger that Harry saw in Dumbledore at the end is kind of undone. But yeah, this is really the only thing that I don't like about Goblet of Fire is how Dumbledore was portrayed. And it kind of shows Mike Newell, even though he did a fantastic job with the other aspects of this film, didn't handle Harry Potter in the source material with the respect that Chris Columbus and Alfonso Cuarón handled. However, despite some of the other significant differences, and some of the bizarre ideas that Mike Newell did have that didn't make the cut. For example, he wanted the Hungarian Horntail to burn down the Forbidden Forest. Luckily, that got cut out. Like he still approached this movie very well. This is definitely where the books got darker in the franchise, and so you definitely see the darker aspects. Like right from the beginning, like the opening sequence, it takes place in a graveyard, and the score Patrick Doyle does the score now, not John Williams, and I think this is probably the best score that's not a John Williams score in the Harry Potter franchise. It definitely shows that this franchise is going in a different direction. Like I've always considered Goblet of Fire to be the turning point of the Harry Potter franchise, where you see the franchise going in a darker direction, characters are getting killed, our characters are also growing up. Harry, Ron, Hermione, they're starting to have crushes. They're also going through some tension. Ron thinks Harry entered his name into the Goblet of Fire. Ron, Hermione are having a blazing argument at the Yule Ball. Harry's having his first crush on this girl named Cho Chang, but she likes one of the competitors in the Triwizard Tournament, Cedric Diggory, who was played by Robert Pattinson. This is before Pattinson went to Twilight and then eventually became Batman. And also, you have this new teacher in Professor Mad Eye Moody, played by Brendan Gleeson, like I said. And Brendan Gleeson does a great job of portraying this bizarre, wacky, paranoid former Auror that is now teaching, that is trying to help Harry through this Triwizard Tournament, but he's also suspicious. And we later find out that he's the Death Eater Barty Crouch Jr., played by David Tennant. And one of the other things I like are the special effects. The special effects continue to improve in this franchise, and they've gone a long way from the iffy special effects of Sorcerer's Stone. Like the dragons look phenomenal in the first task. The Black Lake scene where they're going underwater, that's also handled very well as well. The rest of the cast is also great. Despite what happened with Michael Gambon's Dumbledore, Alan Rickman is brilliant as always as Professor Snape. Maggie Smith as Professor McGonagall, still great. Robbie Coltrane as Hagrid, still great. Even Tom Felton as Malfoy. Like this is a well acted film, and even though I don't like how angry Dumbledore is, Michael Gambon is still very good performance wise. It's just like the material that he was given was not handled very well. So another thing that's significant about Goblet of Fire is this is where we're seeing Voldemort trying to come back and eventually coming back. And the graveyard scene is very dark, and like this is really where the Harry Potter franchise goes in this darker direction. Like a student gets killed. Cedric Diggory is killed right away. And even in the book that caught me on by surprise, like book and movie, because you wouldn't think that like if someone was going to get killed it would be another student, but it kind of shows how big the stakes are and what Voldemort and his supporters will do to get anything they want. And the duel between Harry and Voldemort is epic. I love it, and it really is showing the shift. And to me, one of the most emotional moments in the Harry Potter franchise happens right after the graveyard scene. And Daniel Radcliffe gives one of the best performances of his career at a young, especially at a young age, when he's coming back and he's crying, telling Dumbledore that Voldemort's back and he couldn't leave Cedric's body there. And to me, this is one of the most emotional moments in the Harry Potter franchise. And Cedric Diggory's that actor, like the emotional performance he gives. And to me, this is probably the saddest moment of the Harry Potter franchise. And the score, Patrick Doyle's score, really helps that out as well, displaying the emotion, the turmoil that's going on. And to me, Goblet of Fire, even though it has its differences from book to movie is, in my opinion, one of the best Harry Potter movies because the performances are great, the special effects are fantastic, the score is epic and great. The way they handle the shifting tones works out so well. Even the humor, like this is also a funny film despite the emotional moments, the dark moments. Like Mike Newell does very well with the humor of this film. Easily one of my favorite parts is the scene where like they're I guess having their study hall in the Great Hall and Snape's getting annoyed that Ron and Harry keep talking. Neville practicing dancing for the Yule Ball. Ron dancing with Professor McGonagall. Like Mike Newell knew how to balance all these this tones, and even though he may not have been as respectful to the source material as some of the other directors, I do love what he was still able to do with Goblet of Fire. And ultimately, this is probably my third favorite Harry Potter movie. I think Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire is still a great film. And this is probably this and Prisoner of Azkaban I probably rewatched the most times out of any other Harry Potter movie. I'm gonna give Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire an A. I highly recommend you check it out and give it a revisit because yeah, it has its differences from the book, but I still think it's a great, well-made movie. So, what are you guys' thoughts on Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Because to me, this is the most divisive Harry Potter film. Even though most people do like it, it's just when it comes to Harry Potter rankings. How would you rank it? That's would be a better question. Let me know in the comments down below, and I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe already if you haven't. Please share this with someone that loves the Harry Potter movies, and I hope to see you guys real soon. Take care, everyone.